Hello, welcome to the Pedestal Wife Society. My name is Braille, and today we're going to talk about the old identity must die to date better. So I'm going to wait and let everybody get in the room, and then we're going to have a conversation. You all, I miss you all so much. I had so many things going on, family. The baby is graduating this week, so I had so many things going on. It just kept me away from the internet. But I'm back. I'm back. So I want to talk about this because there's so many conversations being had about not changing and not making the shift as desired in order to have the life that you want is the biggest mistake you're ever going to make if you decide to lean into that type of thinking. Because at one point, as little girls, you had the identity of being dependent on someone else because you needed dependent for care. Then you had to shift your identity and learn so that you become a woman and become independent. So old identities have to shift in order for you to become the best version of yourself. Those two identities cannot live in the same space. I know for facts anytime that I needed to upgrade or I wanted to become the best version of myself, something had to give. I had to make some changes. I could have never lost 100 pounds if I wanted to keep the identity of the woman who was overweight. I had to learn about nutrition. I had to learn about exercise. I had to learn about what I wanted and how healthy I desired to be. So you have to change your identity in order to become the best version of yourself. And if you don't, you're only holding yourself back. Especially, and I'm glad that it works that way because I could have never became the self-assured, self-confident woman that I am, that you see before you, if I continued to be the woman who used to chase men. Baby, I can tell you some stories when I was young, when I would I would call him, I would show up in places where he's at. I would just be a menace, a nuisance, because I wanted that man so bad. So if I had continued those type of behaviors, I would have never been able to be with a high quality, high value man, because those type of behaviors absolutely repel the type of men that you want. Some women believe that if they continue to chase a man and they wear him down and they show wherever he's at and they call him and make dates and they do all these things, that man is going to feel loved and he's going to want to pursue her. And I'm going to tell you, I've already experienced what the results of that is. Usually what happens is the man is repelled and somewhat disgusted by you. It doesn't mean that he rejects you. He doesn't reject you outright. And I think that's the issue, because they're not rejecting women outright that pursue them. They kind of have you as one of in the pocket. They kind of keep you around because they already know that you desire them. They need that boost, that self-esteem boost that they get from being around a woman that wants them more than they want them. So those two identities, they cannot live in the same space. Those identities of me wanting to, if I wanted to continue to chase a man, that could not stay in the same space as a woman who's self-assured and understands that men are supposed to pursue her. Those two identities cannot reside in the same space. And that is the reason why it's so important that you realize that it's time to build the identity that you desire so that you can date better. And I'm going to talk about how I did it. So maybe that'll help you in building your own identity so you can date better. First thing that I can pinpoint and look back, when I think back on when I was the type of woman that chased men, I would call myself the pick-me that you all talk about today. I was a pick-me back in the day. I was a woman who pursued a man. I literally walked up to him and got his cell phone number. Well, we didn't have cell phone number. I got his telephone numbers because we were calling people back then. There was no such as cell phone numbers back then. So I walked up to him. I got his phone number. He never once even gave me any indication that he even liked me or that he wanted to pursue me. I thought the only way that I was going to get the type of men or the men that I wanted, that I had to make the first move. So I didn't even have self-confidence in myself that a man could look at me and desire me for who I am. And I had to get rid of that as a part of my identity so that I could be pursued by a high quality man. Because high quality men, they like to do the pursuing. High quality men, they like to go after the girl. They like to, romance and take care of the woman. And at that time, I thought that my thinking was backwards. And it really wasn't from my own experiences, not family experiences, because my family growing up, all of the women were widows. So I didn't get the opportunity to see them interact, to see how men treated women. All I got to see is what other family members showed me. And other family members, when you know how you are as a little girl, you know how we are as little girls. What we do as little girls to become women, we emulate the women around us. We learn from what women are showing us. So I saw from other family members that you had to pursue a man for a man to like you. You had to prove to a man for a man to love you. And so all those examples is the reason why I was a pick-me when I was young. And this is the reason why I pursued him, even though he gave me every indication, every example that you could that could show that he did not want me. He showed me in so many different ways. I just was not self-aware enough to take it in. And if I would have kept those behaviors and habits and not got rid of them and realized I wanted to build an identity of a woman who's self-assured, who knows what she wants, a woman who can be pursued, a woman who wanted to be with a provider, a woman who wanted to be wanted, those two identities would have never been able to exist. They cannot coexist. So I had to get rid of something. So I cannot be the woman who's self-assured and self-confident and knows what she wants and still be the woman who's pursuing and chasing men. Those two things cannot reside in the same space. So I had to get rid of that. I had to build it. I had to decide what I wanted and what I wanted to stand for and what the woman within desired from me. I had to realize that, because you know how I said, like, as little girls, we all look around at the women around us and we all decide how we want to build our identity based off the women around us. I had more than one example. The first example that I took was a woman who was chasing men, who taught me that I had to prove myself to men in order to be loved. That's the first example that I saw. And it's the first example that I took on. I can't even tell you why I took that example on, why that had more of an impact than the other example, because I had another example. The other example was watching a woman being provided for, watching a woman being cared for by men, watching a woman being coddled and loved on by men. But I chose the first example because that is the example that had the most impact. That is the example that I can pretty much say I probably saw first versus the other example. And in order for me to change and become the best version of myself and to honor the woman within, I had to let go of the behaviors and habits of the other woman, the first woman, the woman who was pursuing and chasing men. I had to let go of being more concerned about how a man felt versus how Braille felt. And that's what you're going to have to do. You're going to have to start building your identity. Building your identity takes work. It is not something that I can give to you. It's not even something truly that I can tell you what to do. I can tell you the how, but telling you what, that is what you're going to get the information from the woman within that's going to help you build the identity and build the life that you desire to have. Hey, MW. Hey, Daisy. Hello, ladies. I miss you all so much. But the old identity must die for you to date better. It's not even possible for you to go to the next level unless you decide and make a choice and make a decision that you refuse to allow the old identity to create your future. Because if I would have stayed in that old identity, I would still be pursuing that man till this day. I would still be trying to figure out how I can get this man to fall in love with me till this day. I would have put my life on hold for this man till this day. But I had to let go and release that old identity and build the new identity that I desired so I can date better and date higher quality men. Because once I let that old identity go and I shifted and I started becoming better and I started basically doing what you all say, leveling up, that is when I started attracting high quality men. Before I wasn't attracting high quality men. I was attracting men because I'm pretty. Okay. When you're a pretty girl, you're going to attract men. But the quality of man is what's desired, right? So when I was under that old identity, I was attracting bums. when I leveled up, became the best version of myself, I started attracting high quality men. I started attracting professionals. I started dating lawyers. I legit dated a guy. Well, I can't say his name, but now he's like in politics. He's in politics now. I could have been a politician's wife. That probably wouldn't have been my jam, but I dated him, but he would have never desired the woman I was before, because the woman I was before, I would have pushed him away by me nagging him, by me trying to get him to prove that he loves me because I loved him more than he loved me, because that was under the old identity. I loved a man more than I loved me. And since I didn't love me enough, what I did, I went after men who would show me that they didn't love me at all. Hey, Suzanne. Hi. Hi, love. How are you? Hopefully everything's wonderful. Hopefully everything's wonderful, babe. But that is the reason why it's so important that you learn to build the identity that you desire. If there's something that you want in your world, you need to build the identity that's going to be able to handle being in that world. Because the old identity, I probably wouldn't even been able to allow my husband to pursue like promotions or go after the things that's going to make us more money and get us a bigger bag, because I was too insecure. I was too concerned about what is he doing and where is he at, and is he thinking about me? I was too insecure and did not love myself. So that identity would have pushed away a high quality man. Men that are high quality, are professionals, that have things going for themselves, they want a self-assured woman who understands herself, that she is not going to be so insecure that she needs to keep tabs on him and figure out where he's at all the time. And so I know that if I had kept under that old identity, if I wouldn't have shifted, if I wouldn't realize this isn't what I wanted, because that's what really woke me up, is realizing I didn't want this. I don't want to be pursuing a man until we old and gray, or he in a wheelchair and we both sick and we just decided to get together because that's all that's left. I wanted a man who wanted me. I wanted a man who cared for me and considered me, and who's going to treat me well and have kids and family with. And I knew I was not going to receive that from him. So I had to make a change. Stop listening to these people who tell you don't have to make a change. Change is actually good. Change actually encourages and inspires life. If you're not constantly growing, you're constantly dying. You have to, when you're growing, you're living life, you're growing and evolving, and you're living life to its best. So it's so important that you don't dismiss change because you're looking at something as though you think it's going to be hard. You think it's going to be something hard to do. I'm telling you, it's all worth it. It's all worth it. Changing your identity so you can do and live the life that you desire, building your identity so that you can have the future that you want. That is important. That is so important. And I'm so happy that I had to go through that change, that evolution, in order to be able to not only date better, but start honoring the woman within. I feel like that's my biggest accomplishment, is honoring the woman within. I always talk about honoring who you're supposed to be at the core. And honoring that is definitely helped me to be able to encourage and inspire and, have the type of relationship that I desire to have. I'm trying to control lust. I think I just lust for men at times that I end up in wrong relationships. Okay. The thing is, if you're trying to control us, and everybody knows I'm a lover girl, I'm absolutely a lover girl, lover energy. So I understand this. It takes discipline. It really does take the mindset of loving yourself more than you love anybody else, because you have to understand that it goes beyond lust. This is energy. This is your life force energy. So if you give that out to any and everybody, you're building them, when you can literally take that energy and build yourself. You can take that energy and create for yourself. Why would you just be giving that to just any and everybody, or just allow any and everybody to have a whiff of that type of energy? And so when I started improving my self-confidence and my self-esteem, my self-worth, I started looking at it like that. And maybe that will help you along that journey, because I understand lover energy and what that does to women. But you also have to understand that you're worth more. And it is so much important. It's so much better when you start really being a miser with your energy. And instead of allowing anybody to even have a whiff, have a smell, tap into that type of energy, learn how to be a miser for it and keep it for yourself. Keep it for your own. Keep that energy for your own beauty, your own energy, your own creation, and look at it as though I'm only giving it out when that is going to be returned to me. I'm going to receive back from it. When I started looking at that, because and instead of sitting here just looking at it as though, well, let me just try to control the flesh, think about it as your energy is worth more than gold. And since your energy is worth more than gold, you should not be giving that out to any and everybody. You should hold your energy as though you're a miser and utilize that energy for yourself. Because that same energy, as you call it, lust, you can literally take that energy and you can create a life that you desire. You can pour that energy back into yourself. And when I increased my self-esteem and self-worth, it became so much easier to pour the energy back into myself. I no longer looked at it as though, oh my gosh, let me fulfill the flesh. I looked at it along the lines of, let me utilize this energy just for myself. And if I'm not receiving anything back from that energy, then you do not get the taste or smell of that energy. So you don't even get the smell of lust on me unless you earned it. You hear me? I can't go into deeper this type of conversation on social media or YouTube, but you should be a miser with your energy and look at it and jump back into your self-esteem and self-worth. Focus in on self. Focus in on more of your self-esteem and self-worth, because we haven't been taught correctly about this type of energy. Yes, we have to make our energy expensive. Love this. And that's another shift that I had to make too. I had to make that shift of my energy is expensive and no one is deserving of my energy unless they earned it. I had to make that shift of, I love myself so much. I love myself more than you. Especially when I had the old identity was I lived in the golden rule, and there's nothing wrong with the golden rule, but I think it can be harmful without conditions and boundaries. And so when I was living under that and expecting to receive the same thing that I put out, I had to let go of that old identity that thought that way. I had to build a new identity that realized, guess what I'm going to do? I'm not going to sit here and not pay attention to what I'm receiving back when I give out to people. I'm going to start paying attention to my energy and not giving my energy out in a way where it's not going to be returned to me. When I started thinking of myself that way, it helped me build my self-esteem too. When I started looking at my body as though it's a tomb, as though it's God-given, as though it's a blessing, I started thinking and operating in that way. Wow, but listen, while I agree self-love is vital, I've always loved myself but still make bad choices. When I studied psychology and that you can't control people, I found the strength to not entertain certain situations. Absolutely, I agree. And that's a part of building yourself, your new identity. You have to go in and decide what you're willing to have, what you want for yourself, and what future you desire for yourself. That's one of the most important things that happened for me. I had to figure out what I wanted. Did I want to sit here and spend the rest of my life chasing after a man? Or did I want to spend the rest of my life not knowing where I stand in someone's life? Did I want to spend the rest of my life allowing my energy to be put out there and not receive anything back for it? Did I want to spend the rest of my life not feeling like I'm worthy? So I had to do the internal work, the work that's required, the honoring of the woman within. I had to do that and build a whole new identity. And when I did that, it took me a year to build a whole new identity. I didn't just jump out here and build a new identity, you all. So I don't want to make things sound like, oh, I just started a whole new thing. No, I had to unlearn years of bad behaviors. Unlearn years of bad behaviors and things that I said and the way that I operated and the way I showed up in order to build a new identity so I could become the woman you see before you. Because the woman that was the old identity, that old identity didn't think that she was worthy. And so I allowed people to play with me because my self-esteem was in the garbage can. I allowed people to use me because my self-esteem wasn't where it needed to be at. I allowed my energy to go places that it should never went. Yeah, yes, the woman within. Yes, that's the reason I talk a lot about the woman within. A lot of us, because even when I was at my lowest, I never honored the woman within. And I'm gonna tell you how I didn't do it. I never honored the woman within because even before I knew or had this knowledge, guess what? My intuition was still there. My knowing, my discernment was still there. I was not honoring it. I would still go and do the opposite of what my intuition was guiding me to do, or the opposite of what my discernment was giving me. I would do the opposite of that because I didn't trust myself. I didn't trust the woman within. I didn't trust what I stood for. I didn't trust my intuition. I just didn't trust me. I trusted other people more than I trusted me. I was literally that girl when I was young that I would call other people and get their advice. I would do what other people were saying that's best for me. I would take on other people's opinions. And now, the identity that I live under now, I would never. I would never. Because I know that I trust the woman within a whole lot more than I trust outsiders or others. I put something up, but I didn't put a question mark. Okay, let me go back. Which one? I think I'm just, is this it? I think I lust for men at times I end up in the wrong relationship. Is that it? All right. Well, that's the thing. When you start pouring more into yourself, and that's self-esteem, self-worth, honestly. When you start pouring more into yourself and you start looking at your energy as more expensive, you won't be so focused in on the wrong man because you would realize that this person is, you're not receiving anything back. You're not getting anything back. Because I know that when I would show up for a talking one, no, I picked. Okay, so which one is it? Because I don't see a question. I want to make sure I'm answering the right question. I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is. I don't see the question, baby. You might have to rewrite it because I don't see a question. But I don't see a question here. Yeah, talking one. No. Okay. Yeah, you're gonna have to rewrite the question because I don't see a question. But I had to release that old identity and build a new one. That's the only way that I have found not only to date better, but also to become better. It's just not about just dating because every time that I've had to do this, it's for different areas in my life. I've had to do this when I wanted to lose weight. I had to change my identity in my relationship with food. I had to change my ideas about exercise. I had to make these changes in order to lose weight. I had to change. I had to level up. I had to change that, get rid of that old identity and embrace a new identity. Instead of the woman that did not exercise, I had to learn how to walk 2 to 4 miles a day. I had to, instead of the woman who actually eat fast food for lunch, I had to learn how to eat a salad. I had to do all these things in order to change my identity. And you can utilize these things and it affects every different area of your life. Anything that you want to change, just build a new identity for it in order to be better. It's going to be a requirement. There's no such thing as no change in order to do better. Anything that requires change, anything that you want to change in your life and you want a different future, you're going to have to learn how to build a new identity. Okay. I'm usually the one who brings up sex conversations. They do, but I do it first. I wonder why. I need to look deeper into that. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Because even when the word sex comes across a woman's lips, that's power in itself. And I wouldn't even want to waste my energy or give that over to another person if I'm not receiving even a conversation. Because even when a woman is putting herself on the chopping block of, hey, I want to have sex with you, or I'm sexually attracted to you, that is power. Literally, you just gave your power over to him. And now he's sitting in that power dynamic as the one that holds the power. And so you have to be very careful with these type of conversations and situations that you put yourself in. Especially, trust me, I've learned it at a young age. Because usually when I would put myself in those type of situations where I'm going to start a conversation in something that, uh, something of that nature, not maybe not about sex, but if I was putting myself in a situation of power like that, usually it was because I wanted to be different and I wanted him to notice me. I wanted him to be impressed by me. And that's the reason why you're doing it. You want him to be impressed, you want him to notice, you want him to be attracted to you. And since you get a feeling of wanting to being attracted when a man is like in awe or surprised that you brought it up first, you think that you think you're receiving some type of power, or you think that he's going to be more, in like or want to chase you because of that. And I can tell you that men don't see it that way. Men don't see it that way unless you're already in a relationship with him. Then that's the only time you should ever be bringing those type of conversations up. But when you do it beforehand, there's a power dynamic you just shifted. And then they don't think or desire to absolutely put the work in that's required, because they feel like you're like, he doesn't have to do anything because it's a done deal. He doesn't feel like he got to chase you. He don't feel like he got to do anything because you just brought the conversation up that he's thinking that he wants to bring up, or he's trying to figure out how to bring up, but you already did it. Like, y'all have to realize there's reasons why we don't do certain things, because there's a power dynamic that exists. When you start doing things first, you put power in his hands. And then he feels that I don't have to do anything because she's already shown me her hand. You've already shown him your cards, baby. So he's like, oh, well, she's already wanting what I want, so I don't really have to work hard to get it. So if you want to be pursued, you kind of take yourself off of the being pursued. Because why would I pursue something that's already a given? If I already know you're going to give me something, why would I pursue it? Why would I go after it? And when you start talking sex, men will pressure you until you pay up. Yes, absolutely. And that's the reason why you should never bring it up. Let him, if you want to talk about sex, let that man talk about sex. Let him bring it up, because then the power dynamic shifts once again, and it's in your hands. And then you can go from there. But when women bring it up and they're trying to shock him or they're trying to entice him, because that's what it is. You're trying to entice him. You want him to be attracted. You want him to see you as a different type of woman, that you go after certain things. And sometimes with social media, I feel like a lot of people are being tricked and deceived into going about that way. They think that's the way to go about it, not realizing that how power works and how the dynamic shifts when you do things that way. What about hormones? Go get them checked. Go get them checked. Because you should never, it's still your body. Every cell and molecule is your body. You still have control over your body. So if you feel like your hormones are out of whack, go get them checked. Go to the doctor. Go to the doctor, because you still have control and power over your body. But the old identity must die to date better. Like, if you desire to have the future that you want, or if you imagine the future that you want and the things that you're currently doing is not going to get you the future that you want, it's time to shift your identity. It's time to build a new identity so you can have those things, because you won't have them if you continue to operate in a way that you're not going to get the things that you want. Trust me, I know. You're not going to get the things that you want if you continue to live under that old identity. The old identity of me chasing men, of me doing things to shock men so that men would desire me, doing things to get a man to pick me, doing things to get a man to fall in love with me. That identity cannot live in the same space as the new identity of a self-assured woman who knows what she wants and operates from the woman within. Those two identities cannot live in the same space, or you're always going to be at war with yourself. So that's the reason why it's so important that you build the identity that you desire so you can have the life that you want. It absolutely goes beyond dating. Anytime that I focused on one area of life and I had to shift my identity, I had to shift the way I think about it, I had to shift the way I look at it, I had to shift my perspective, I was able to level up and I was able to live the life or have the thing that I want. But you cannot have the thing that you want if you continue to live under the old identity that's keeping you from having the things that you want. Hormones, lust, sleeping around, all these things do not attract the type of men that you want to be with. All those things don't keep or bring in the type of men that you want to build a future with. So you're going to have to shift your identity. You're going to have to build the identity that's going to bring in and attract the type of men that you want to be the father of your children, that you want to have family with, that you want to be married to, if you desire marriage or not, that you want to have the life that you want. And that's where you're going to have to start. Because I remember, I will never forget, and this is a basically, I guess how y'all say story time, whatever. Back then, we did not have cell phones, okay? So I had to go, and we didn't even have, at the time, we were so poor, I didn't even have a home phone. So I had to go to like a pay phone. And I went in the middle of the night because of the fact that I really had something I really want to talk to him about. I picked up the phone and I called him, and I was like, okay, I was like, basically all the how are you doing type of thing. And I was like, you know what? I don't think I can do this. And he was like, what? I was like, I don't think I can continue to wait to see where this is going. I don't think I can do this. And why I see you dating other women. And he was like, well, look, I'm young, I'm free, and I don't want to really, settle down right now. We're too young to settle down. I want to kind of explore and get to, know other women. I was like, well, since you want to explore and get to know other women, I can't be here for that. Because this is breaking me down. It's killing me. I can't be here for that. And he was like, well, okay. He was actually understanding. He was like, okay, I understand. And he's like, he literally said before I hung up, he's like, well, if I get it figured out, are you going to be around waiting? I was like, no, I hung up the phone. And that was the point right then when I was walking in the rain, because this was in the rain, baby. That's how loose, that's how twisted this was. That's how crazy this was. This was in the rain at nighttime. And I was at a payphone talking to a man, trying to talk this man into being with me. And I walked back to my car and I was like, I cannot imagine me chasing him. And then what if he marries another woman? What if he has a baby with another woman? Like, am I going to be standing around for that? Am I never going to be number one? Am I never going to be the woman for him? Am I ever going to hear him say, I love you? And I was like, I can't live like that. And from that moment, from that walk, from the payphone to my car, I was done. I was done. Of course it hurt. Of course it hurt. I cried my little tears. I wiped my face. And I got up the next day and I started building the identity that I desired. I let go of, I no longer was I trying to be where he was. I actually avoided where he was for the entire year of me building my identity. I never went where he was going because we have close friendship groups. So I was like, if he's going to be there, I'm not going to be there. I started reading more books about self-esteem and self-worth and started learning about relationships and started learning about love and how to tell if somebody loves you and how to tell that you need more love for yourself than you need for anybody else. I swear my mind was blown when I started learning that I need to love me more than I love anybody else. And me loving myself more than I love anybody else, I was going to be able to attract people in that's going to love me, that's going to be able to add love to my life. I didn't know that me searching for it, looking for it, hunting for it, only thing I was going to get was people who was going to show me that I didn't love myself. And so I started building my identity. I started looking at the things that I wanted, and I started looking at it as in a way of future. And me looking at things like, oh, do I want to have options? Yes, I want to have options. Do I want to go have to work? No, I don't want to have to work. I want to be the man who provides. Oh, do I want to be with a man who loves me and puts me on a pedestal? Oh, I want that too. Or do I want a man that's going to take care of our kids and he's going to spend time with our kids and the family's going to go above work? Oh, I want that also. So you're going to start building your identity. What do you want? What do you desire? What do you want your future to look like? Because the current future is looking bleak if you're operating from the old identity. Because what you're currently having now is what you're going to have if you don't change your identity. If you don't go through and start building the things that you want in it. And so the old identity, I had to make those changes. I had to let go of some of that stuff. I had to let go of that proving to a man that I loved him. I had to stop proving to him that I was willing to sacrifice myself for his love. I had to let go of that. That's a part of the old identity. I had developed the new identity where I'm already loved, and you have to add to that love. And if you can't see that I'm already loving you, then you can't see or be with me. I had to build that a part of the new identity, because the old identity was so focused on finding love that I did not have for myself, that I was running around chasing love, and so many people were showing me that I wasn't loved. True. Bree, what's your take or advice on the younger girls that seem to not care about marriage or having standards? I truly do believe that some women will not be married, because the woman within has to be honored. Y'all have to understand that some women will not be married. Some women will be on the path of career and business, and they don't desire it. That's not on their path. That's not on their journey to do. And then some women are going to have family, and they're going to have children, and they're going to desire marriage. I think that when we honor who we truly are at the core, we're going to be on the right path for our lives. Because the younger girls, I know that some of them may be influenced by the culture, they may be influenced by the environment, but they have to absolutely do the work to tap into the woman within in order to discern if that's the true path that they must go on. But some women that are saying they don't want marriage, they do want marriage. They have just looked at the environment and the culture and seen that maybe marriage hasn't worked for people that's around them, and they have rejected. But once they get in touch with the woman within, they start tapping into who they are as women, they may desire it. So I can't even say that all the young girls that are speaking up about not caring about marriage, that's their honest and true answer. I can't say that, because what's not being pushed, and this what should be pushed, is women doing the work. You have to do the work. The work is yours. The work is individual. You have to tap into the woman within in order to discern what your true path is. You can't get on the internet, just follow what the popular celebrities or your popular YouTubers or your popular Instagrammers or anybody on social media to determine what that true path is. All of us have a true path. All of us have a blueprint. All of us have something in us that God gave us that's directions of what we're supposed to be doing. Now, the standards thing, we can already tell that the standards, these young girls having those standards, they're just a product of the environment. There's a lot of women that don't have any standards. There's a lot of grown women that don't have any standards. There's a lot of old women that don't have any standards. There's a lot of elderly that don't have any standards. Trust me, I'm starting to see a lot of a wave of like really older women getting like marrying these old men that are like handicapped and don't offer anything. So don't tell, there's nothing like an old fool. There's some older women too that they ain't got no standards. They marry men who come straight out the nursing home and don't have anything to offer them. In other videos, you talk about creating and multiplying. Can you please explain on that as it applies to creating a new identity? Okay. Multiplying and creating, only way that you're going to really be able to do that is if you change the shift from the old identity to the new identity. When I was in my old identity and I really didn't know who I was, I didn't know what I wanted, I didn't know what I stand for. I remember even back then, I used to think I wasn't even creative. How dare I? I never thought I was creative. And that's based off of the old identity. So how can you create, multiply, and make changes in life until you absolutely tap in and change that old identity to the new one? You don't even know what you're capable of until you upgrade, until you become that new woman, until you start tapping into the woman within. You don't even know who you are and what you stand for until you start self-reflecting and becoming self-aware. So one has to come before the other. The new identity needs to become before you try to create, multiply. Because if I tried to create, multiply under the old identity, I wouldn't have understood or even figured out what to tap into, what my talents are, or what my gifts were. I didn't truly understand what my gifts or talents were until I started upgrading and becoming the new woman that I am today. I would have never been able to tell you what I was creative with, or what my gifts were, or what my talents were. I wasn't self-aware or self-reflective, self-aware enough to do so. How do you let go of the regret of sharing intimacy and inspiring his life to where he taking on a new identity based on everything you introduce him to and doing everything without you, like travel? Okay. The thing is, unfortunately, life comes with regret. And just because, the thing is, if one of the things that I love, and this is a part of my new identity, if I did it once, I can do it again. And so he's only one. The power of woman, the power that you hold within yourself. If you did it once, you can do it again. The energy that you gave him, you can literally take that energy, pour it back into yourself, and you can utilize that for when you are married or when you are in a relationship that deserving or desired of that type of energy. So if you did it once, you can do it again. There is no regret. There's nothing that went wrong. Everything that went before, stop looking at it as though, oh, you lost time or you regret doing these things. Look at it as though it's a learning curve. You had to learn these things in order to become the woman that you are today. I don't regret anything. Even my days of chasing, even my days sitting on a payphone in the rain, I don't regret nothing. You know why I don't regret anything? It's because everything that I went through, everything that I learned, helped me to have the experiences to be able to not only teach and mentor and be here for the women of my community. If I hadn't went through those things, I wouldn't be able to tell you all anything because I wouldn't have had any experiences. Maybe I'd have been online just like all these other girls out here, just chasing after a man too. So I wouldn't have anything to give you. So don't regret anything. Just move forward. That's a learning curve. If you did it once, you can do it again. Everything that you poured in him, baby, think about what you can do when you truly tap into the woman within and you're standing in your true power as woman. How you're going to show up, what presence you're going to have when that man that comes along that deserves who you are as a woman, and what you're going to be able to give to him in energy wise and experience wise and wisdom that you're going to have. So there's regret nothing. That's one of the policies I have with my new identity. I regret nothing. If I made a mistake, I made it. I'm going to keep it moving. If it didn't go right, oh well, I got another time to try it again. If I met the wrong people or said the wrong thing, oh well, I have another opportunity. Don't regret anything. Everything is for everything that you are currently experiencing. There is a reason for it. And that reason is for you to become the woman that you're supposed to become. Because it would have worked out, you wouldn't become the woman you need to become. You might have stayed stagnant. You might not even desire to do more. Braille, what to do when family wants to know details of your relationships? I'm not comfortable in sharing personal goals and things about my partner, but they are pressuring me. I'll tell them nothing. Like, I'm family oriented, but I didn't even introduce my husband to my family or talk about him really until he was serious, until he asked to be my husband. When he proposed, I then asked and had a conversation with my family. I did not do anything to you don't want to do things too soon. Okay. You don't have to go in and talk about personal things about your partner or the person that you're currently dating, especially if it's not serious. If it's not serious, then you don't have to worry about going to talk to them. I wouldn't talk to them until I know this person has a place in my life. Until he's earned his place, then he hasn't earned my family. And I take my family serious. So I wasn't one of those women who like, oh, here's John. And you all know I'm a woman who believed in rotational dating. So I was dating a lot. I was dating to the point that my grandmother was like, Braille, I heard that you're dating about so-and-so. You're dating him and he works at the law office. I heard that you're dating the guy at the that owns the gas stations and stuff like that. And I was like, grandmother, don't worry about it. That's all rumors. I didn't even tell her, go into details about it, because right at that point, those people had earned a place in my life. So why would I be having conversations about them? Just because they're pressuring you don't mean you got to tell them anything. I wouldn't. Until he earned that place in your life where it's going to be more and he's going to be there for the long haul, why even have a conversation about him? I swear, I feel like men's ears perk up when a woman is talking about him. And trust me, no man is going to hear me talking about him. His ears won't be perking up at all. Can I please ask about the membership? How often or how soon are the one-on-one with the continued membership? Are you talking about, I have two memberships, by the way. I have the YouTube membership, which is the videos that I put in membership for YouTube. And then I have my membership program where I do at least a one-on-one when you come in as a member. So which membership are you talking about? Are you talking about my inner circle, or are you talking about my Pedestal Wife membership? Yes, I think you should be proud, not regretful, because now you know what you're capable of. Yes, like you should be looking at it all proud. Like, hey, just think about what I can become and how I can, when I do the things I'm looking to do, if I'm able to do that with him, think about all the things you're going to be able to do and accomplish. Okay, thank you. He was my first intimate partner and my first heartbreak. Those are the words, babe. But you shall get through that. You're going to be just fine. The Pedestal Wife membership on the Pedestal Wife membership on the website. Okay, well, only thing you have to do, you sign up through the link, and I bring you in as a one-on-one when you're coming in, and we talk and we find out what you're trying to accomplish, because the Pedestal Wife membership has so much in there. There's so much work and so many. You get some of my courses too. What do you think about dating while the man is still building and not exactly financially stable with the kid? Whose kid? He has a kid or you have a kid? Because all I saw was building. When y'all say building, what we mean building? What are we mean that you say he's not financially stable and you have a kid or he has a kid? Who has the kid? And then the next question is building. What is he building? Because we have to realize that building doesn't mean what I think a lot of people think it means. When I think about building, he's already in that situation. Like if he's building and he said he wants to be an attorney, he's already an attorney. He's just maybe a new one or something. Like, so what do we clarify building? And then not exactly financially stable, because it sounds like he's not even ready to take on a relationship or anything. He's not ready for a commitment. Because why would he? It sounds like he should be focusing on building and worrying about and focusing on his financial stability. So I would need more information. Because two things stuck out: building and not financially stable. Those two things don't go together, because that sounds like he's not really ready for any type of commitment. That he should be focusing in on his own life. His kid, I have no children. He makes $30 an hour, but still struggling a bit. But I can sense he's frustrated about that. I'm gonna wait for you to finish that up, because I already don't like where this is going. Because you don't have any kids. Y'all, I don't know. I know times have changed. Honestly, times have changed. But one of the things, and this goes back to you building your own identity, One of my old identity would have accepted something like that. My new identity said no. One of the things I looked for was a man who did not have any children. If it did not come by me, I wanted none of them. So that's another thing you have to ask yourself: do I even want to be around or raise somebody else's kid? For me, it's a no, because I didn't have any children when I got married. Me and my husband had our children. And then the struggling thing, that's what kind of gets me, because it sounds like his priorities aren't in order. Because when a man is building and struggling, he should be focusing on getting himself out of that hole and getting himself to a space where he can financially take care of himself. Sounds like it's a red flag, because he's already not able to take care of himself. That should be at least the number one qualifier when you're vetting a man. He should be able to take care of himself. If he can't do that and he's struggling to take care of himself, then you already got a problem going in. He's frustrated by a situation. I believe I've been helping him a little, encouraging, but I'm feeling drained now. That's because it's not your responsibility. Your body is telling you already what you need to know. Before I even told you what you need to know, your body's telling you what you need to know. If you're feeling drained, dealing with him, it's already a no. You just need me to confirm it. It's a no. Why is it a no? He has a kid and you don't. He's struggling, which means he can't even responsibly take care of himself and a child. So why would you add another person to it? And he's frustrated because he already knows that he should be focusing more on building his finances and taking care of his child. That's what he should be focusing in on. Right now, he don't got time to date. He shouldn't be dating you. He should be focusing in on building his finances and taking care of his child. And you know that because you're feeling drained being around him. And it's not about the $30 an hour, by the way, because I know some people are like, oh, well, it's all about the money. It's not about the $30 an hour. It's about just basic logic. If he can't successfully take care of himself and a kid, if you were to marry him and add yourself onto that, how can he possibly take care of all three of you all and give you any kind of wiggle room to have babies? Because women like to forget about babies. Women like to forget that their bodies need to heal. So you're going to have to take some time off. So many women that I have been around, that they get in that situation where they get in that situation that you're talking about currently, and they have babies in that situation with that man, and they figure out that they don't even have the finances to even take a break. So they have to get up from having a baby and get back to work. So if you desire that, that's what the future looks like. Confirmation. Thank you. You're welcome. You already know, though. I stand by. Your body's telling you what you need to know. If you're feeling drained and tired just being around that man, your body's letting you know. The woman within is giving you signs that this is not the right guy. And it's not. It may even be a problem of him not being able to manage his finances well. I don't know that. I'm just saying. If he cannot comfortably take care of two people, he can't take care of three. I'm not even going to ask you what you've been helping him with. I'm going to let that be. Because I can just imagine, when you like somebody, you're into them. As women, we tend to give more than what we should give, especially to a situation where we like him and he has a lot of potential, which is what we should not be looking for. We should not be looking for a man that has potential. We should look for a man that's doing, not potential. Be mindful that what you accept from others, money, sex, gift, etc., you could be subjecting yourself to their toxicity. Okay. Household things, cooking, overseeing the son on the weekends. Okay. I don't see anything horrible about that, what you were, but you already knew that something was off. Your body told you before I can even confirm it for you. Because there's a difference between being naturally tired and drained. You said drained. The wording lets me know everything I need to know. When you said drained, I was like, it's not the right guy. Why? Because you can be tired. Everybody gets tired sometimes, you know? But drained is like your energy is going out of you and it's going in different directions and you're not receiving anything back for it. You're not being fulfilled. You're not being filled up. Your cup is empty. And when you start to feel that around a man, you need to pay attention to that. If only thing you're feeling around this man is that your cup is empty, that you're drained, that is your sign. That's your signal that something isn't right. If you just said tired, then I'd be like, well, maybe you're doing too much. Maybe you can just pull back. And then you also said that he wasn't financially stable. And I was like, oh, that's a red flag. This is how I felt with my ex. I found out he had a kid. I just left. Yeah. I mean, and I think that's something that a woman who has no kids, you can decide not to be with a man that has kids. That's a decision that you can decide to make. And I know myself personally, that's what I decided to do. I did not want to have to deal with the issues that come with another woman having his child and, you know, having to deal with the family issues that can occur from it. So I chose to not even deal with men that had kids because I didn't have any at that time. All right, so we done been up here for about 46 minutes, and I'm so happy you all showed up and showed out. Thank you all for being here all the way to the end. Take time to like the video and comment down below. I would love to know what things that you have to let go of in order to build your new identity. Because I think I've talked a lot in what I had to do. I had to let go of this idea that in order to be loved, I had to jump through hoops to receive love. I did not understand it at that time that I had to love myself, that I was loved anyway, and I carry love with me everywhere that I go. And anybody that comes in my life, they have to add love to it. I was operating from the, horrible thinking under that old identity. And it made me go through and do things I would never do under the new identity that I carry today. Today, I would never go and chase love because I know I am that. And I will only accept love in my life from people who add love. What do you think about a man who says he wants a woman who can take care of themselves? A man that says he wants a woman who can take care of themselves. I think we all should be able to take care of ourselves, but what is the context behind this? Is he trying to say that because he don't want to provide for a woman? Because I know that there's a new breed of man that is looking for women that can take care of themselves so that he doesn't have to provide for them. So I would ask him, hey, what do you mean by that? Nothing wrong with a good old follow-up question. Like, what do you mean by that? I think I'm not understanding. Ask him what he means by that. Because it could be an indicator that he doesn't want to provide for a woman. But then it could be also an indicator that he just likes a woman who can take care of herself if he's not taking care of her. So find out what he means. Because I can honestly say that there definitely has been a lack of masculinity in new men today. Because like I'm on TikTok and I try not to be up there too much because I feel like TikTok kind of rots your brain a little bit. But I saw the trend of the soft guy era. And I'm like, y'all know that me growing up, no man. I told my husband about the soft guy era. And I said, do you want to go through a soft guy era? And he started laughing. And he was like, what does that mean? I said, it means that these men are looking for women that's going to take care of them. He said, and men are announcing that on the internet. He said, if a man did that, when he was growing up, that man would get his behind beat. And I was like, that's the truth. No man would ever announce to the world that they're soft. But there's new men out here that lack masculinity, that love going online talking about their soft guy era. Baby, don't come across these men who are not of that time that they would think that you're fruity, or that soft guy era means that you back for the other team. Because that's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is. And me and my husband was laughing about it. Let go of the mediocre lifestyle and work hard to put themselves in places that will attract a provider, protector I need. Yes. Yep. Drizzle. Girl, I saw that drizzle on TikTok. I didn't know what it meant. And I had to go. That's how I stumbled into the soft guy era thing. And I was like, the grown men announced it on the internet. And me and my husband laughed about it because he said that, oh my gracious, if they grew up in our time, they would get dragged. You won't ever catch a man of my generation talking about that he's of the soft guy era. All right, so I don't see any other questions in the comment section. I appreciate you all staying all the way to the end. I appreciate you all, coming back to the page and supporting me, especially with me being gone a lot in the last 2 weeks. It's gonna get better. I'm gonna be here a little bit more. We're just getting through a little family emergency and family health issues. And then I'm going to get back up here, and I got so much content. When I tell you I have been so inspired and I've getting so many downloads, and I just got a whole list of things I just want to talk about. So I'm so excited to be back and making videos. And so I appreciate you ladies for being here and supporting me and coming back when I do show up. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for all my Pedestal Wife members and my inner circle. I appreciate you so much. Nothing but love. But I don't see anything else. So I'll give you all some time to drop a comment or drop a question if you have it. And then I'm going to go close out. I'm going to go have lunch with my baby because she's getting ready to graduate this week. And we have a party planned for all of that. So that's another thing that's been keeping me away from social media. So thank you all for being here so much. I appreciate you all. Nothing but love. I've had so much fun. I got some more fun topics I want to talk about. I cannot wait. Oh boy, I got some more fun topics I want to talk about, especially the girl that there's a girl that was at Walmart and she was showing rings and begging a man to marry her. We got to talk about it. So that's going to be by days. We're going to talk about, I don't even know what the title going to be, but we're going to talk about, and that's the reason why it's time to let go of that old identity so you can let go of those behaviors that are not serving you. The behaviors and habits that are not serving you, they're not going to help you have the future that you desire. You got to let them go. Or you're going to end up like that woman that's in Walmart begging a man to pick one of the Walmart rings. It's $20 or up. It was like $128. You're going to be like her, begging this man to see your value after she done gave him 3 kids and then been together for 6 years. And I know that if I wouldn't have changed who I was at that time, I would have been that woman too. So I have a lot of sympathy for her, but I also realize we got to talk about it. We can't have the next generation of women that's doing these same things and showing up in a way that's not going to get them the things they want. Because she could have had the ring on her finger and been provided for, maybe not by that man, but another would have gave her what she wanted. What another man won't do, another man will, babe. Trust me. I was there at one point where I used to think that way too. That he the only one gonna do this. He the only one gonna love me. He the only one gonna look after me. He the only one want me. No, what he won't do, another man would do, and he would do it better. Another man would do it better. She would have been better off letting that man go. Well, I don't know. I hate to say let him go. There's things she could have possibly did that I won't ever talk about on social media. That's membership level only that I would say she could have did. And she could have changed the whole dynamic of her relationship. Just because you go into it 50-50, baby, don't mean you got to end like that. You can still be provided for within that relationship as long as there's certain things there's certain requirements that he meet. But let me go because I know my daughter's waiting for lunch. And she keeps sending me a text over and over. So I see you all on the next one. You all have a wonderful, wonderful, happy week. And Bye.